Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ricky V, and today you're listening to episode number 53 of the Elite Fitness podcast. And in this one, we're going to revisit an old podcast I did all about MK677 Nutribol. It's a really, really good podcast about a very interesting compound, very unique compound when you compare it to everything else that's out there in the marketplace for steroid users like you and I. So without further ado, here is MK677.
What's going on, everyone? Good evening. Evolution.org podcast coming your way. Our compound series continues. This is going to be number 344, guys, if you guys are tracking. Today we're going to do Nutribol MK677. This is Steve Smee, and Rick is on here to help me out. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, Steve? What's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there?
So, guys, Nutribol MK677, it's not a SARM right off the bat. But it is sold as a SARM. A lot of SARMs companies obviously sell it. It's very, very popular. I've used it several times. It's one of my personal favorites because it really does do, it's really an amazing compound for the things it does. So it's orally administered, and it's a growth hormone secretagogue. Is that how you pronounce that, Rick? Secretagogue?
Secretagogue.
Yeah, I have no fucking clue. Yeah, but it's reverse pharmacology.
Secretagogue basically means that it makes cells secrete other compounds, basically.
Exactly.
So that's all it means.
So chemically, it signals our pituitary glands to secrete growth hormones. And gosh, boy, does it really, really work. It's quite amazing. You'll actually notice it working pretty quickly. So it's very similar to using like a GHRP or a GHRH or IPA, which are peptides. But in this case, you simply take it orally and you can just dose it once a day or twice a day at the most. Unlike these peptides, which are a pain in the ass. You have to mix them, then you have to inject them a certain time, and you have to inject them sometimes several times a day. So it's so much more simpler, and that was one of the reasons that it became so popular in the fitness industry. So I'm going to bring in Rick really early on this. Rick, can you tell us a little bit about that and the history?
MK677 has been around, I would say the last 7-8 years is when I started seeing it. As of June 2017, it is in the preclinical stage of development for human growth hormone deficiency. MK677 is still being investigated as a new drug. It has not yet been approved for any sort of a human consumption. However, bodybuilders are still using it. And there really isn't much more information on it other than it's been around the last 6-7 years and is in preclinical trials as of about 3 years ago. Do you know what the company that's been developing it, Steve?
Originally, it was developed by reverse pharmacology. And then
that's pretty much it. I mean,
yeah. But the reason they developed it, they wanted to kind of combat conditions, muscle wasting, obesity, osteoporosis. They wanted to help with elderly people and hip fractures, that sort of thing. So it's quite amazing, some of the things that it was designed for. And they wanted to do it safely. They wanted something that would be safe. So it's really fascinating.
When you're talking about MK677, that's one of the newer SARMs. Those are the ones that have been available within the last 10 years. S4 has been around, about 13, 15 years almost, available to the public. MK677, less than 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember using it for the first time maybe 5-6 years ago, I believe. And it's really an amazing one. So how does it work? So you get that pulse, that growth hormone pulse, 4 different ways that it does this. It increases the GHRH, which is growth hormone releasing hormone. It amplifies GHRH, which signals somotropes of the anterior pituitary gland. It reduces the somatostatin release, which that will turn off growth hormone release. And then it inhibits the somatostatin receptor signaling. So those 4 ways are how, when you take this stuff, you'll actually boost your growth hormone secretion. And that's how it works, those 4 ways. And they, the more you dose it, the more growth hormone gets spit out. So they've noticed in studies that doses starting at 5 milligrams a day will do the trick with this stuff. So I've used it, and I can definitely tell that it really, really was making a difference. And we'll get into some of the benefits. One of the ways I'll tell you right now, like taking it within the first 2 or 3 days, my hunger was insane on this stuff, to the point it was really, really annoying. Another benefit, fat loss. Really, really cool fat loss. Hard sleep. I needed less sleep on this stuff because when I would take it, I would sleep harder. So I wasn't tossing and turning as much as I usually do. I'm a big tosser and turner because I'm always in pain, from years of weight training and office jobs and stuff. So I'm always in fucking pain, so I'm tossing and turning. But this stuff, makes you sleep hard. And then the other thing, recovery. I noticed difference in recovery when I would take it. So, we see that. So, overall, the benefits, we can say, it helps you with your catabolic, from weight training or whatnot. But what we've seen is, it helps with prevent the nitrogen wasting. So you're able to basically push harder in the gym, recover faster. And we've seen this. They did a study on young men, and it showed that after a week at 25 milligrams a day, they had an increase in the concentration of IGF-1 and growth hormone. They had nitrogen wasting reversal, and they showed that their muscles were actually able to stay. So this stuff is amazing, Rick, for when you're off cycle or during PCT. This stuff, to add it in that situation for those who are worried about losing muscle from a cycle, is a tremendous benefit. So another thing, before I let you on, Rick, another thing that it showed was with fat loss. You had some of the studies showed that you had an increase in lean body mass, and it showed that happened 25 milligrams a day for 8 weeks. They had an increase in basal metabolic rate after just 2 weeks, an increase of serum levels of GH, IGF-1, and IGF binding protein 3, and they had an increase in lean body mass. So, and they thought they found that the increase in calorie deposition into the muscle and appetite decrease as opposed to reducing fat storage directly. So the mechanism of action is kind of interesting on that. So it's almost like you can actually eat more on it and still lose fat, which is pretty cool. So, overall, guys, sleep, your complexion, your energy goes up, nitrogen retention goes up, increase in strength, sense of well-being, all the nice things that come with growth hormone. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than running growth hormone. And it's a hell of a lot easier to take than taking these GHRHs and GHRPs that you have to mix, inject, and hope you're not getting a powder of who knows what. So as long as you're getting legit Nutribol, you're smooth sailing. Jump in, Rick.
Yeah, it's not a peptide. It actually is a growth hormone booster. Basically, it makes your body produce more growth hormone. I've tried it. I used it for a little while, and I abandoned the cycle. I didn't follow it through. After using it, I just got worried, and I didn't have any real science or real signs for this. I just decided it on my own. I got afraid that it might mess with the way my body produces GH naturally. And so I wanted to give it a few more years of other guys using it, hearing back some reports before I started messing with it, because it's already a lifestyle being a steroid user, and I already have to tweak with my endocrine system always. I've got to take testosterone boosters at times. There are times where I'll just have to take anti-estrogens, even if I haven't been juicing for a while. It is just a lifestyle. I didn't want to add to that so early on, maybe dealing with my pituitary gland as well. MK677, it will raise your appetite the way Steve says. It might be attaching to ghrelin receptors, making you hungrier. It will increase the amount of human growth hormone your body makes, and does increase the amount of IGF-1 your body makes. All great things if you are a bodybuilder, if you're looking to get lean, if you're a strength athlete. Not so great if you have pre-existing cancer or you're prone to it. Probably not the best to be taking. Yeah, so I mean, I personally have decided to delay working or exploiting the growth hormone pathway. Your growth hormones attach to completely different receptors than your androgens do. Like, here's an example. For example, human growth hormone is human specific. The human growth hormone in our body won't work the same on a horse or on a monkey or whatever. Testosterone is the same testosterone. It will work the same on a horse or on a monkey than it does on us. Testosterone is about 275, 300 daltons in weight. Human growth hormone is over 22,000 daltons in weight. It's a way larger, more complex hormone than testosterone, and it affects a completely different pathway. It's a completely different way of messing with your system, and so I've stayed away from it until now. I think there's enough research and enough people that have used it now to where I can probably fit it in properly into one of my upcoming programs. But it definitely is something to know. All the benefits that Steve mentioned. Plus, I mean, it boosts growth hormone production is what it does. And instead, you're not adding in a peptide. You're actually promoting you're boosting your own making of it.
I did read a study that it did show a reduction in tumors in mice, and that was attributed to its effects on the immune system. So even if that's the case, and even if you're worried about cancer or tumors or something, there's evidence that it actually can reduce cancer and tumors as well. We have that. But again, like Rick was saying, it's very new. We haven't seen long-term effects, but people are getting cancer left and right every day from all kinds of things. I mean, from just the pollution in the environment, from the foods we eat, the water we drink, so it's hard to really know this. I think it's going to be hard to know, hey, Nutribulk specifically causes this type of effect. Go ahead.
It's a strong compound. The effects on sleep and also the effects on hunger, very profound. It's a very strong compound. It's working from the first time you start taking.
Yeah, and it's we're going to talk about that the side effects. That can be a negative side effect in both cases. We'll get into that shortly, but first I wanted to kind of talk about the IGF. Some of the studies that I've seen, it shows a rise in IGF of 30, 40, even 60%. And IGF-1 is something that a lot of guys don't really understand because we're used to steroid use. When you use steroids, you take testosterone, you run a blood work, and testosterone levels go to 3,000-4,000. You're like, wow, I got high testosterone levels. I'm getting stronger. My libido's up. I'm killing it in the gym. But they don't understand IGF-1 is also very, very important. So when you have a boost in IGF-1, there are several benefits. I can go through about 20 benefits, but the main ones are healing. You can actually heal. You're not going to heal from steroids. Steroids won't heal you. But IGF-1, a boost to IGF-1, they can heal bones. They can heal tendons. They can heal ligaments. They can heal muscles. from injuries. You'll recover much quicker from your workout. How about old injuries, nagging injuries that you've had for years? It can help with that. Now, with me, I've had some injuries. Trust me. And unfortunately, Nutriball did not fix my injuries. But it may have helped me recover from those injuries, but it's not going to be a miracle. Like if you tear your rotator cuff or you herniate 3 discs in your back, okay, you can't just take Nutriball and magically heal that, but it can help you recover, get you on the way to recovery. So in those situations, taking time off from the gym and then taking the Nutriball while you're off, Rick, that could be a good thing versus some people are like, oh, I want to come take off from the gym to recover an injury and I'm going to run steroids. That doesn't even make any sense. So this is an example of something you can actually take. And I would take it with like N2 Joint RX, and that will help. That will be great synergy. And you can also take it with something like Ostarine, which also helps. And those would combine for some really, really good synergy to help you with those injuries. Also tightening skin. That's another benefit of IGF-1 increase. And then, of course, lean muscle gains. Again, lean muscle gains. I've seen so many guys run steroids, Rick, who don't get lean muscle gains. They get perma-bulked. They gain 15, 20 pounds, and then they can't get rid of it. It's all fat and water, and they have a hard time getting rid of that. And also, fat loss, fat oxidation, it increases that. So you can actually eat more on Nutriball and still burn fat. I've done it. It really, really does. So it's an amazing compound for sure. Anything else you want to add? I mean, it's a fascinating compound for sure. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I wish I had more to offer, but I'm being honest. I used it for a couple of weeks and just got off of it. I felt how strong it is, how it affected my sleep, my hunger, and started reading up some more of the science on it. And I told myself, I say, hey, a lot of guys are going to try this stuff anyway, no matter what I say. I'm going to give this some more time and see what happens, how guys feel on this stuff. It's already been years. It's already been several years since I tried it, and I've seen nothing but good reports coming out of people using it. So far, I haven't seen much in the way of negative reports, except for that hunger, that kind of sleepiness. And I believe some guys were also reporting a little bit of a vision issue. I don't know if maybe those were people that were getting stuff that was contaminated with S4 maybe. But there was also some sort of a darker kind of night vision issue with it. Am I wrong about that, Steve? Am I remembering the wrong thing? It could have been some source was probably selling a batch contaminated with S4 and guys were getting vision issues off of it too, no?
I've never gotten vision issues from it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure.
Something about your eyes adjusting to light. I'll look into it some more. I could be wrong. Or again, like I said, because a lot of this stuff is bathtub, you might hear 1 or 2 reports of something weird going on, and sometimes it's just contaminated product that had something else in it that didn't belong. For the most part,
how would you stack it for injury?
Ostarine, N2 Joint RX, maybe some Deca testosterone, but pretty much N2 Joint RX, Ostarine, and MK677. That's pretty darn good injury repair protocol. There are peptides as well that we've discussed in previous podcasts, but I think MK677 is probably one of the best for injuries.
All right, guys. So let's talk about stacking. We went through some healing stacks. You know what? There's Nutriball. Again, it's not a SARM, but it's sold as a SARM. So a lot of guys like to use it as part of a SARM stack. One of the more popular SARM stack, Nutriball, Cardarine, and Andarine. Oh my gosh. Great stack if you want to build some lean muscle and burn fat. Fantastic stack. You can stack it with any SARM. I mean, you can't go wrong. You really, really can't go wrong. If you just want fat loss, how about just Cardarine and Nutriball together? Fantastic. Now, one of the other benefits of Nutriball is it's not suppressive toward your HPTA. So it's not going to drop your testosterone levels when you're on it. So that's one of the advantages that it has. You can run it in PCT, you can run it off cycle, you can run it on cycle, and really can't go wrong using
different pathway. It doesn't affect different pathway. It doesn't affect reproduction. Doesn't affect the sexual health.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of guys are running it in PCT for that reason. They'll run it in PCT, help them hold their gain. They'll run it in their bridge between cycles. Keeps your gains, makes you feel good, helps you recover. So let's get into the side effects, though. Negative side effects. Hunger. Really fucking annoying. Really, really annoying. If you take it in the morning, like an hour later, you're going to be hungry. And, that kind of doesn't fly with me because I like to, I'm a time restricted eater. I like to just eat in a small window in the afternoon, evening. So hard to take it because your appetite's going to go sky high. So I found taking it before bed will actually help with that. So that's a way to kind of combat the side effect of the hunger. Sleep. Oversleeping. If you're, you work a job, you got to get up, get in your car and drive somewhere every morning. You can't be late. You're late. You're going to be stuck in traffic and you're going to show up in the office an hour late and everyone's going to think you're a moron. Well, it makes you sleep harder. So keep that in mind. You're not going to be woken up in the morning from your dog or cat waking you up because you're going to be sleeping so damn hard. So that's a disadvantage of it. Rick, what are some of these side effects? How'd you deal with those side effects? And what are some other side effects that you noticed on it?
It's one of the reasons I got off of it at the time. Made me incredibly hungry. And I don't like feeling hungry. I'm actually used to, I've been free from hunger now for ages, decades. So I don't like being hungry. And that's that's what kind of did it for me. Because I'm a big diet guy. I like the freedom of not feeling hungry. And damn, this thing really made me want to eat. It made me very hungry. Brought me back to the days of like when you have carbohydrates, and a lot of carbohydrates, and then it just makes you hungrier and hungrier. And that was one of the side effects that I didn't like. Also, just what it did to me sleep-wise. Once you took it, man, I mean, after a while, you just felt sleepy. You felt like you were just done. And like you said, you sleep harder. So it's a deeper, just much deeper sleep, harder to get up out of bed from unless you're fully rested. Those two side effects were pretty much the only side effects that I noticed on it. The hunger and the sleepiness were enough to make me think about it, research it more, and think about it twice. And then just the fact that it's so new. So new, I just said, you know what? I'm going to take this bottle and I'm going to save it. I still have the bottle somewhere. And we're not going to use this right now. It's very expensive. I have a bottle I paid a lot of money for. It's very expensive at the time. But again, it's just too new for me. It was just too new. And now it's not. Now that after the podcast, now I'm thinking about it again. I'm researching it again. It might be something I start adding. I told you guys that I had decided that I wouldn't exploit the growth hormone peptide way until I turned 40. I felt as though just a little bit of testosterone, just regular steroids got me to where I wanted to get to physically and performance-wise. And so I didn't see a need for adding growth hormone. But now I'm going to start to. I'm getting older. My skin is aging. My face, everything, you're just aging more at this age. So I'm going to start now researching more and experimenting more with growth hormone pathways and different peptides, SARMs, and growth hormone itself. So I'll definitely add more value to the podcast for you guys as the episodes come by. But that's to bring it back to the original question. Just what I described, man. Sleepy and hungry, which was enough for me to rethink it. I don't like being tired and I don't like being sleepy. So just definitely not what I wanted to, not what I was looking for at the time.
Some of the other side effects are, like Rick said, lethargy. Some guys get affected. I wasn't feeling lethargic at all on it. Someone are different. Rick and I are different. He's the type of guy, he stims himself up. He drinks a lot of coffee. He's kind of like that. And a lot of people are like that. They just have low energy and they just need coffee to stim them up. I'm just high energy. I jump out of bed. And my girlfriend's the opposite. She needs like an hour just to get out of bed. So I just jump out of bed like a missile. I'm out. I don't need coffee. I don't need stims. I don't need shit. So it affected me completely different. So some of you may be more toward, Rick's far end, or some of you would be all the way in my far end. Did not affect me at all. My energy was very strong on it. So it just makes you feel hungry like all day, no matter how much you eat. So you know what? Some of you guys who don't have an appetite, you can use that to your advantage. If you struggle with an appetite, but eat clean. If you eat clean on this stuff, and you're a skinny guy, you have trouble building strength and building size, oh my gosh, this is the stuff for you. This is the stuff that you can take, but eat clean. Don't eat Pop-Tarts and pizza and ice cream on this stuff. Eat good quality, clean food, and you're going to build a lot of muscle on this stuff. So, take advantage of it in that situation. So how long should you run it? How much should you run it for? Now, the bottom line dose for females, if you're a female user, 5 milligrams a day. And then males, the average dose gets to 25 milligrams a day. Some guys run it at 50, but that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. And then how long can you run it? A lot of guys like to run it. If you really want to run it and get the sweet spot, 8 to 12 weeks. A lot of guys argue, you have to run it for months, but that's just not true here. You can run it for quite a while, but it's not necessary to get a lot of these benefits that I'm talking about. So 8 to 12 weeks and then coming off of it, cycling it like that would be a simple way to run it. I don't see the point in overdoing it. And then one of the other side effects that some guys may have is the carpal tunnel issues, but that's really rare. We don't really see that. And then water retention, but we don't really see that too much compared to just running straight HGH. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up, guys. We covered everything. We covered up everything with it. I would recommend grabbing a couple bottles and running it 25 milligrams a day and see how you like it. And it might be something that you can really use as a tool to better your fitness goals out there. And some of you may run it and be like, you know what? I don't like it. Like what Rick did. He ran it. He didn't like it. He didn't like what it did to his hunger. So he's like, screw it. I'm done with it. And some of you guys are going to run it and you're going to love it. So it really just depends on the situation. So I think it's a really, really good idea to run it if you're the type of person who's worried about losing your gains after cycle. I think it's a really, really good one to run in PCT. All right, Rick. Anything you want to add to this? Would you run it again?
I'm going to. Yeah, I actually have plans of running it again. Now that we did some more of the research on it for this podcast, and I still have the bottle somewhere, man. I'm a bit of a pack rat, save some stuff. So still got the bottle somewhere. Let me check up on it. Let me check up on if it's
hook it up. Hook me up, man. If you got a bottle, hook me up.
And now it's expensive one. I remember when I got it, it was a couple $100 for a bottle.
Yeah.
When it first came out, it's extremely expensive.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right, guys. Well, that does it for this podcast. I think we covered it all. If you have any further questions, hit me up on the forum, Steve SMI. I'm also doing consultations. I'm getting that going again. I wasn't taking people for a while during the COVID, but now I am taking people. So if you want to hear from me and ask me anything you'd like and have a consultation, hit me up, Steve SMI on the forums. And Rick is also on the forums. Rick V is his name. He's on the forums every now and then. I'm on the forums every day. I have no life. So Rick's the guy with the life. He's got kids, a wife, like 3 wives and 5 girlfriends from all over the world. So he's not on the forums as much as me, but I have no life. So I'm on the forums all day. I have nothing better to do.
You guys can come check me out on social. I manage all of the social for Need to Build Muscle. I answer all of your questions and to be a nutrition. So If you guys want to check me out on social, RickyVrock.com. That's RICKY, V as in victory, ROCK.com. And that'll forward you right to my social. Yeah, man, it was just I'm on the forums a little bit less now than I used to be, just because we have so many of you guys reaching out on social, and I'm entertaining guys there. But if you PM me, send me a private message on the forums, I will get back to you. I always do.
All right, guys. So this was number 344, Nutribol MK677. We'll have another compound next week. If you have any special requests, feel free to hit us up. Hit Rick on social media. Hit me up on the forums. We'd love to hear from you. Have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one, Steve. Have a good one, guys.
Guys, this is the required legal disclaimer. We are only sharing our experience from years of steroid use. We are not doctors, and none of what we say should be regarded as medical advice. Always check with your doctor before taking any drugs or starting any training program.